next episode of Car Thoughts. On this episode of Car Thoughts, we are going to be talking about Five Nights at Freddy's books. Now, we're going to be kind of comparing the novels and comparing them to Goosebumps and Fear Street as we travel from here to there. Now, there are a lot of the novels, and I'm a little bit late to the game, considering most of the Pizzaplex books are out, and I'm just barely getting started on the Pizzaplex books. But, man, what I read with the first Pizzaplex story, oh, goodness, it is brutal. So, I'm sure the hardcore fans of Five Nights at Freddy's series already know all about it. But, hey, this is not for the hardcore fans. This is for the casual fans. And this is for, not for explaining away the details of what is Fnaf. I am going to leave that for the experts. This is for the experts are, Matt Pat, Fnaf, Markiplier, Dawko, the two new girls on the scenes. They're the experts. All right? I can just tell you what I know. So, it seems to me that Five Nights at Freddy's, the books at least, are kind of divided up into about 4 categories. You have the books that are based upon the world of Five Nights at Freddy's. These are the game books. So, these are like the coloring books, the security handbook, the survival guide, the multiple renditions of the player's guide. Volume 1, updated volume 1, complete volume. You have the encyclopedia of all the characters. So, that's based upon the games. Then you have the novels, and that's, the fourth wall or fourth closet, and so on, and the movie tie-in, and there's 3 of those books, plus the movie tie-in. Then you have Fazbear Frights. Now, those are your Goosebumps equivalent. Some of them are creepy, but they're not terrible. Brutal? Yes, no doubt. They are brutal. Oh my goodness, they are... Wow. But they are definitely... At times, it made me wonder what Scott Cawthon was thinking when he was writing those things. Stephen King light, perhaps? But then you have the Pizzaplex. Now, I just got through the first story on the first book, and I am getting Fear Street vibes. And I know Fear Street books were for a slightly older audience, and that is exactly what I'm getting out of this first story. For an older audience. And I'm also starting to get a connection to one of the original stories. And that story is Oh to Be Beautiful. I don't know if this is the connection, but maybe somebody else can say, hey, no, I'm off on the wrong trail here. Or somebody could say, hey, no, you're on the right trail. Let me know in the comments. So, here's the story of Oh to Be Beautiful in a nutshell. Because it's been a long time since I've read the story. You have a girl who's coming home from school, and she's passing by a junkyard, and she finds an animatronic. Now, I don't remember if the animatronic is Baby or Ballora. Nah, that really doesn't matter. She pulls it out of the junkyard. It's in the back of a trunk with its arm hanging out. She takes it home. She cleans it up, and she gets it turned on. Well, it asked her if there was anything she wanted in return for her kindness. And she wants to be beautiful. And the animatronic tells her this is a tough request, but she'll see what she can do. But in return, she's got to wear this pendant. I believe it was like a heart-shaped pendant, but I don't remember if that's accurate. It's been a while. So, as the days progress, she is actually getting more and more beautiful. So, she goes to a school dance and takes off the pendant, and she turns into a pile of junk. And she rushes home, clinking, clanking, falling apart. And she finds the animatronic with her skin on and her body parts in baggies. And it turned out the animatronic at night, while she slept, was removing her parts and replacing them with just basically junk. Now, this was kind of the themes of the Fazbear Frights books. So, kids being put in really horrific scenarios. So, like, here's another one. You had a science teacher who had an advanced science class that told his kids, hey, I have a weekend advanced science class, and I want you to come in, but you guys need to rip out one of your teeth and put it in this Fazbear slime. And it's going to tell you a deep secret. So, first of all, rip out one of your teeth? Come on. But, okay, so kids do. Well, the deep secret is that the slime's eating and replacing these kids. And in the last desperate ditch effort, these kids are calling out, possibly for their parents, to tell their parents one last message before they're replaced. That's the deep secret. Other stories, a kid gets trapped in an animatronic suit, and the suit's, taunting the kid before it tries to cut the kid's head off with a giant knife multiple times. Kids and adults get trapped inside old animatronics or walls or attractions, depending on the story. One guy gets trapped in a or a stove with spirits around him. One guy gets trapped in a water tube. Another lady is trapped inside of a game with no way out. Yeah, that was a genius design. Once the game starts, the game's locked in, and you can't get out until somebody else lets you out. Yeah, that's brilliant. Again, great designs here. They had the equivalency of killer sea monkeys called sea bonnies that literally ate some kid to death and then replaced him. Another kid had his soul sucked out inside one of the pizzerias and was trapped inside of a miniature animatronic so that he would behave. And then, while his soul was trapped inside the animatronic, it was thrown away in the dumpster in the back, with him unable to do a thing about it. Yeah, these are the kind of stories that are in the Five Nights at Freddy's Fazbear Frights. Yeah, these stories are brutal. This kid was trying to make it back to his parents, and he was almost there when staff saw him and some kid got sick all over him while he was stuck inside a robot Freddy, and they picked him up and tossed him in the trash. And all he could do at that point was stare off into the darkness. And who knows how long he's going to sit there in the darkness. Until his systems run out? Trapped forever? Yeah. Wow. So, now let's talk about this first story in the Pizzaplex story. Now, remember I was referring to Oh to Be Beautiful. You have this girl by the name of Jennifer. Now, in Oh to Be Beautiful, you have a girl who made a choice. Her choice was to pull this doll out of the junkyard, and she asked to be beautiful, and she was given a pendant. Okay? In this next story, which I don't remember her name in Oh to Be Beautiful. I just don't. It's been too many years. But in this first story of the Fazbear Frights book, Jessica, I should say, made a choice in her past, which we don't know what it is. She's run away from home. She's working in a hospital. She's got this pendant on that she's whittling away over sick kids, and it's making them better. But as she's making them better, bits and pieces of junk is falling off of her, which sounds really, really odd. And as she's doing this, she's looking more and more ill. Now, it turns out that she's absolutely terrified of the junkyard. She's trying to make up for a problem in her past. She's, she feels like she's almost about to die, and that's okay with her. She knew she didn't have long in the story, and that's, again, okay with her. And She ends up making a friend, which that was not part of her plan. Her friend invites her to the prom, not part of her plan. And she goes. Again, not part of her plan. She is told by a priest it's okay to spend some time on yourself. This is part of God's plan. You need to spend some time on yourself. But here's the thing. At the hospital at the same time, there was a girl dying from leukemia. And she was torn between using the last of her heart-shaped pendant on the girl or going to the prom. And she needed a sign. Had she used her heart-shaped pendant on the girl, she would have died right there. Had she gone to the prom, she would just come back after the prom and died afterwards. She just didn't know what to do. She was just so torn. She got ready for the prom, got to the prom. She was having a really good time. The boy she went with goes to kiss her, and she starts leaking oil from her eyes, her lips, her ears. It was coming out of her pores. She was just a mess. And she's like, okay, this was the sign I was looking for. This had to be. So she runs back to the hospital, locks herself in this girl's room with the leukemia, scrapes the last of her pendant over the girl after locking herself in. Security breaks into the room, and Jessica's gone, leaving nothing but a pile of junk behind. Rusty parts, and nothing's there. Now, makes me wonder, is there a correlation between that last story, Oh to Be Beautiful, like, hey, is this girl from Oh to Be Beautiful the same girl, you know, or is this a different child? I don't know. I can see the connection. I really can. But I don't know. So it's just a thought that I have, that the two stories are definitely connected. They're running on very similar themes of kids falling apart for some reason, and that pendant revealing what they are underneath. I mean, it's just way too coincidental. I mean, and I also know that there's a greater theme that's running throughout the Pizzaplex stories, which obviously I haven't gotten to since I'm only in the first story, But it's a very interesting call out to make, you know, considering. But hey, that's just my theory as of right now. But hey, leave a comment in, you know, the comments below, and leave a like if you like the video. And thanks for riding along with me as I traveled from here to there. And remember that you are appreciated and loved. And I will be chatting with you next time. And thanks for riding along with me. Thanks. Bye.